Hi everyone! In this video, I want to discuss myths and legends related to tarot cards and making tarot spreads. In the previous video, I mentioned that I wanted to make a bunch of shorter videos, but I've decided to put all of these legends into one longer video, and that's what I'll cover today. I have collected these legends and myths from my clients, from the internet, from some people that I know. I've written down the most common ones, but if you know any other legends surrounding, I don't know, magic or tarot cards or esotericism, you can let me know in the comments below the video, and I'll try to answer to your question or to your story or legend, and we can talk about it and discuss your legends and your worries. Let's begin. The first legend is the following. There is a belief that tarot readers cannot read tarot spreads to themselves because they might jinx something, or maybe they will not read it properly, or they will be too emotional, and so on. That is partially true, I would say. Overall, we definitely can read for ourselves. We can read about relationships, we can read about traveling, moving to another country, changing a job, and so on. There are many topics that we can, in fact, read to ourselves, and there is no limit to that. It's not like there is one reading per month that we can do to ourselves or to others, right? We can read as many readings as we want, as we feel like. It could be, 10 readings a day. It doesn't really matter. What matters is the emotional component to that reading. So if we are too emotionally involved, actually it is related to any topic. It's not even related to ourselves. If we are too emotionally involved in our client's situation, or in our best friend's situation, or somebody else who we read to, it's better either to calm down and try to read it with a calm mind, or if it seems impossible, it's better to go to a different reader, or to send your client or your friend to a different reader. The thing is, tarot cards are based on an emotionless approach. You're not supposed to be emotionally involved. You're not supposed to react with too much happiness, or you're not supposed to have too many expectations. Otherwise, you'll jump into conclusions pretty quick, and those conclusions are likely going to be wrong, right? Just because you subjectively want something to happen or are afraid of something to happen. So basically, this legend has some truth in it. We are allowed to read to ourselves. However, when we read cards to ourselves, it is more likely that we are going to be more emotionally involved into the topic, and therefore we will make more mistakes. Therefore, if a topic is too emotionally charged to you, it's better not to read about it and ask somebody else who you know to read it for you. The second belief is somewhat similar to the first one, and I have already somewhat covered it in this video. It sounds like that. You are not allowed, as a tarot reader, you're not allowed to read tarot spreads for your close ones. So for your family members, for your best friends, or just close friends and close people. Once again, like I previously said, I believe there is a part of truth in this legend. You are, as a tarot reader, you are definitely allowed to read to your friends and family members. However, if you are too worried about them or about this particular situation, it's better to ask somebody else, just to avoid any mistakes in reading a tarot spread, especially if it's an important one. The third legend sounds like this. Tarot spreads can hypnotize an individual or program an individual for the specific type of future. That, I believe, is a pure legend, and there is nothing true to it, unless a tarot reader has learned some sort of hypnotizing techniques, but very few people actually know that. I often compare tarot spreads to any kind of advice you can get in the world. You can get advice from the news, from some internet buddies, from your friends. And it's entirely up to you whether you want to follow that advice or not. If one of your friends suggests you to buy a car, it is still up to you to decide whether you're going to buy a car in the first place, which color it is going to have, how powerful it's going to be, and so on. Can our friends, with their advice, by giving to us their advice and their point of view, program us for a particular type of future? I honestly don't believe so. Same concerns tarot readings. The next myth is pretty interesting because it comes usually from tarot readers, from the professionals that are somewhat skeptical about the instrument that they use, and it's a very interesting one. So some people believe that tarot cards are only good for analyzing the present moment or the past, but not the future. That's a very interesting legend because it comes from the idea that with tarot cards, we're able to start talking with our client, who eventually gives us all the information they have, and we quickly analyze it, and then we give back important pieces of advice based on our own intuition or on just logical conclusions that we made after we heard the story of our clients. And the main idea there is that although tarot cards are excellent for analyzing the present and the past, because we can get that information from the client, or at least some pieces of it, we cannot analyze the future. That is not true. In fact, even if we don't have a client sitting in front of us, even if we only have their name and their date of birth, let's say, we can say quite a lot about the topic that they ask about. We can mention a lot of details. We can mention a lot of little things that they never mentioned, that they never even thought about, that they could forget, and they would be important. We see a lot of hidden things, and we definitely can touch the future, for sure. Definitely, I would say the most precise readings about the future would cover the closest future, so the next month or 2 months or 3 months. The further you go, the more vague the future is, the harder it is to predict specific events, because every day people make certain decisions. They can change their mind all of a sudden, they can change their behaviors, they can start seeing a therapist every week, and they'll change their entire lives. However, the nearest future is perfectly seen by tarot cards. The further away future we can also see, but it's more related to tendencies and not precise specific details like we can do with the next week, let's say, or the next month. To summarize what I've said so far, tarot cards work perfectly fine with the past, with the present, and with the future. The next legend also comes from some professionals that work with tarot cards, and it sounds like that. Tarot cards work like metaphorical cards, and they take information from our subconscious, from our client's subconscious. That is not true. I'll try to explain why. I work with subconscious quite a lot because I also work as a counselor, and the method that I work with basically touches subconscious all the time. We talk with subconscious, and subconscious has a lot of distortions. It has its own way, it has weird logic, it has weird way to see the world, to see the events. It has its own unique memory where it grasps certain moments from the past and applies it to the present circumstances. However, we cannot say that subconscious always gives us truthful answers related to the objective reality. For example, we talk to an individual who is angry, and we think perhaps this individual is angry with us. So subconsciously we start behaving, because this information also dives into subconscious, so we start behaving as if we wanted to defend ourselves, or as if we wanted to attack this person and become angry and bring it back to this individual so we don't feel that bad. But the objective reality can be entirely different. This individual might not even be angry, or might not be angry at us. This individual might be upset or frustrated with work, or might be just busy in their head. There are so many things that could happen to this individual within themselves that would be a part of their truth that we subconsciously read entirely different. My point is, if tarot cards were able to take all the information just from the subconscious, it would not be that precise. And tarot readings are very precise. Therefore, I believe that if you work as a tarot reader and not as a counselor using metaphorical cards, there is no need to give to a client an opportunity to interpret your spreads. It's not their job to interpret your spreads. It's not their job to interpret tarot cards. They may have so many different interpretations. The subconscious is very rich with images, with different interpretations. It's our job to read the cards. It's our job to give the interpretation and precise details. The precision comes from your reading, from your knowledge of the meanings of the cards, and from your intuition, not from the client's interpretation of tarot spreads. The next myth often comes from the young tarot readers or from people that are curious to learn a little bit more about tarot cards. So, some people say that only very talented specialists with mystical abilities are able to make high-quality tarot spreads. That is not true. And that's funny, because I would say this is a common belief in many professions. We believe that only talented people can play a guitar. We believe that only talented people can paint. It is not true. Yes, talented people maybe will learn this skill faster. Maybe they will create something special if they put a lot of efforts and time. However, if they decide not to put their efforts and time, they will never develop these skills. And if any other individual who has minimum talent or no talent put their efforts into one specific activity, they will become pretty good. If I spend, let's say, 6 hours a day painting, trying to train my hand to make beautiful, faces and lines and whatever, I will become a pretty decent painter in a year or in 2 years. I will become skillful and professional. I don't need a talent for that. Same concerns tarot cards. Is it good to have a talent? I mean, it's always good to have talents in any area. However, is it necessary? No, I wouldn't say so. If we just learn and practice to read cards, to remember the meanings of the cards and the symbolism of each card, if we learn how to communicate with our clients, because this is very important, we need not just to read the information, we need to deliver it properly so that our clients hear this information and try to make the best out of it, try to change their future to the best. So there are many skills that we could learn, and we don't have to be talented in each one of them in order to become a very decent tarot reader. Here is the next legend. So some people think that in order for the predicted future to come true, we need to believe in the power of tarot cards. So it's kind of a placebo effect. If you believe something will happen, it will happen. Not true. Entirely not true. There is not a single thing that is truthful there. There are many aspects that form our future. There are outside life circumstances that do not depend on us. There are our desires, our wishes to make something happen. There are always factors of other people that want their own things. So once again, there are many different pieces of this puzzle that form our future. However, you definitely do not need to believe in the fact that tarot cards work, that there is destiny, that there is the divine plane. You don't need to believe in anything in order to either use the information coming from tarot spreads or in order to see something that was predicted happening. I've had many cases in my practice where people, let's say, forgot about something that was predicted, and then as soon as it happened, they remembered about it and they said, oh, I was told about these circumstances a while ago and I just forgot. There were plenty of cases when people didn't believe at all about the predicted future, yet it happened nonetheless. And of course, it's especially exciting to see something happening that was predicted in precise details, something that could not be predicted. You know, you touch the miracle there. You see that something exists that I cannot see, that I cannot even think of. I cannot analyze it, I cannot study it, but something is out there that can help see the future. And it's interesting, always interesting to see these results. And the final one is my favorite. We have to get ready for a session and prepare in a very, very particular way and create a mystery out of the process of reading tarot cards. This legend is very common both among the clients and among the tarot readers. Some people will come and ask, do I need to prepare in any special way? Do I need to bring candles? Do I need to pray or meditate before our session? And I always say, no, you don't need to do any of that. You just need to prepare your questions, and you also can prepare the precise details if you have anything specific to ask about. And some people get surprised. And I believe some of these beautiful clients of mine even thought that I'm not a real tarot reader, like I'm a fake that cannot do a real deal. And it's always funny because that's how our mind works, right? The more attributes we see of a mystical process, the more we associate these attributes to the, I don't know, esotericism or something mystical. Like we've seen in many movies that witches work with potions and these green clouds coming out of cauldrons and so on. I always say that tarot reading is like any other profession. We can work in any circumstances, the same way that writers, professional writers, they can write anywhere. Obviously, it's nice to have a good ambience, to have a pleasant view, to have nice smells surrounding you, but is it necessary? No. For some people it could be inspiring, for some people it's easier to work in such ambience. However, professionals that work in the same area for many years can do their job anywhere. The question here could be, will the absence of this mysterious ambience destroy the whole prediction or the whole analysis done with tarot cards? My answer to that, no, definitely no. You can get all the needed information in absolutely any circumstances. Yes, there are certain things that help the process of reading cards. For example, it's better to be in a quiet place because this way you can concentrate better on reading and on talking to the client. But once again, is it absolutely necessary? No, there are exceptions where we can work even in the loud ambience. It happens. Sometimes it's necessary, sometimes that's the only place available, sometimes it is what it is. And obviously it's good to take care of your instrument, clean your tarot cards every once in a while, or charge your deck if you have this ritual of charging your deck. I don't know, practice with it, right? Not just let it sit for many months in a corner, but that's pretty much it. Finally, I want to say that I really hope that tarot reading will one day become just a regular profession like any other profession. There will be less stigma, less beliefs, legends surrounding esotericism overall, and specifically tarot readings. And I hope that tarot readings also become a little bit more light and fun. Not that they are made for entertainment, because I don't believe it's entertainment. It's a very deep process, and the client works a lot during the session. However, a little bit more lightness and less seriousness will bring, I don't know, I think it will bring in a very important part to the sessions. When we are less serious, there is more space for magic to happen, and that's something very important. Tarot is a lot about magical process, and it's a very useful magical process. Thank you for watching this video. It was really fun to go through all the beliefs related to tarot readings. If you have anything to add, you can write your comments below this video, and see you next time. Bye!